Hey everybody, so welcome back to another Flatware Friday. This is just our weekly little informal discussion about selling flatware on platforms such as eBay or Etsy, Poshmark, places like that. So before we get into today's topic, which is about the big money flatware that maybe we can hopefully come across at thrift stores or yard sales, estate sales, places like that, I just wanted to address last week's flatware video, and we covered some of the FAQs, like the commonly asked questions about selling flatware. And so we had a little bit of discussion in the comments about the flatware piece known as according to replacements.com. I should have had one here in front of me. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So we had some discussion about these two spoons, a teaspoon and what many of you said growing up you called a tablespoon. So according to replacements.com, they often use oval soup spoon for this type of dinner spoon, or they also use the term place spoon, like for a place setting. So, you know, my house, we sometimes just go with big or little spoon. But a lot of you said that you used tablespoon versus teaspoon for these growing up. So I did some research as far as eBay listings. Now I've just been listing the same way for many, many years, but I'm willing to make adjustments and things like that. If that is something that is worth making those adjustments, I base a lot of the terminology I use on other listings on the replacements website and things like that. So I did a quick search. I just did, it was really brief research, but I did Oneida tablespoon. Now there were some listings. Replacements.com uses tablespoon, but they use it for the larger serving spoons. And so there were some listings for some Oneida tablespoons, meaning the oval soup spoon, and those had sold. Right? So people were using them in their listings and their listings were still selling. The one thing that I noticed though is that most people who had those listings in solds included a measurement. So it would say a 7-inch, like tablespoon, 7 inches. Okay. Whereas a large serving spoon is going to be 8 and something, closer to 9. So the measurement was there. And then many of them also used oval soup spoon, or they used place spoon or dinner spoon, or all four in their listing, maybe just trying to cover, all the different names that people use for this piece of flatware. So I've said before that that's one of that and dinner knives, which I agreed with someone in the comments. We also called dinner knives butter knives when we were growing up to differentiate them between steak knives, the sharp ones. So a lot of times, I think we sometimes get caught up in the accurate name, but we also want to remember the names that people who are just out there looking for replacement flatware could buy, okay, or would be using in their searches. So I'm maybe going to play around with this in the future and maybe add those words, add maybe tablespoon, but be very, very clear. I'm going to make sure the measurement is in my title as well, and then use some of those other terms. When I'm talking about the serving spoon, I'll make sure to put, which I do now, I put tablespoon, but I also put serving spoon. And I usually put the measurements in those titles as well. So just wanted to clear that up. I'm willing to test it out and to try it out. If you had tablespoons in your listings, if it's working, then just keep it that way. And then, you could even put in your description, all the different names of the type, that people are using for that piece of flatware. Cover all the bases. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's pop over to the computer. Today we are talking about high-priced selling flatware. So exciting. I would say 95% of the stainless flatware selling that I do is bread and butter. It's find a nice solid Oneida pattern, buy the fork for 25 cents, sell it for $8 to $10, you know, and just rinse and repeat, right? But every once in a while, there's just those brands that are just so wonderful to find. Some are just a dream I've never found. Some I have found one piece in my whole reselling, thrifting 17 plus years. I have found one piece in that brand, right? But it's good to know because you just never know which one of you guys out there is going to come across it, okay? So let's just talk about, I think I did 10, maybe there's a bonus 11, but we'll see what we can learn today, okay? Okay, we are going to start off with one of those patterns, or no, one of those brands that I had talked about that I have only found like one piece ever in my whole thrifting reselling career, and that is Christoffel. I just looked up Christoffel Flatware Stainless. I've got it sorted to sold and highest to lowest. So we can see we're up in the, for a service, a set of 35 pieces for this one particular pattern, we're up close to $3,000 for that. We've got Christoffel, a 36 piece in the $1,600 range. So you get the idea. Now Christoffel is something that is, it's not, they're French. They don't just make flatware, but they're also, I believe, going to have silver plate and sterling pieces as well as other just tableware and things like that. So it's just a name to know. If you find that at a good price, then it's worth double checking and taking a look at. And I will say in general, if flatware is made in France, it's worth a second look. That's just kind of a little rule of thumb that I go by sometimes. I had a recent set made in France, just 3 pieces that I shared in a what sold video recently. And of course the name is gonna disappear out of my head. But just basically I looked it up because it was made in France and I purchased it because of that. Here's some more. So we get down to like a set of 6 salad forks. And I like to look at that too, because there's a lot of brands. If you sorted stainless flatware highest to lowest, you'd find like Oneida and some other brands up high in these higher numbers, but there's like a huge set, right? It's a good pattern, but there's like 90 pieces or something like that. And so the prices can be up really high. So what I like to do even in this is kind of pop down to maybe I would only find, 10 pieces, or I might only find 6 pieces, but $269 for 6 pieces, $250. Look at, here's some tablespoons is what they're using for 12 pieces. Okay. So just looking down at some smaller amounts, right? This 1 teaspoon, there was a best offer somewhere over $150. Okay. So Christoffel, that's a name to kind of keep an eye out for when you're out and about. I think the piece that I found it was an oval soup spoon. It was a tablespoon, and it sold for like $23 or something, but it was way back, like in 2012 or something is when I found it. So it was a long time ago, and yeah, $20 or $30. I don't know. It was pretty high for just one piece of flatware. Okay, let's pop over to another name to be on the lookout for, and that is Karl Aubuch. And this isn't something, like this isn't a brand, this is a designer, because the flatware can be made by different people, but anything designed by him, I just looked up real quick. He was one of the big names, and it said Austrian modernism. Okay, so we see a lot of Danish modern and other modernist type pieces of flatware that we'll see as we go on, but these were usually made in Austria, made in Italy, and things like that. So this 75 piece set of Maestro, designed by Karl Aubuch, sold for over $1,000, somewhere in there. A best offer was accepted. Here are some other modernist styles that you can see that have that name, 47 pieces, also in the hundreds. A little dessert set, looks like 4 spoons, sold for $100. So again, Maestro. So here's one that's Amboss was the maker. As you can see up here, Collini, Austria was the maker on that one. Morinox, Italy was the maker on that one. Okay, so the maker will be different, but the designer is the same. So looking for, anything somewhat unusual, very modernist looking, that is flatware that you're going to want to pick up. Again, this was a maker, a pattern where I found one piece in my whole life. Amboss Maestro was what I had found, and I think I found, like a little spoon or something, or a solid fork or something like that. And again, 20-something for the one piece. Okay, but yeah, I would keep my eye out for something like that. And then, no surprise to us, Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren, that name comes up in a lot of our Be on the Lookout videos, our Bolo, our research videos. So we have some Ralph Lauren flatware. Obviously, they didn't make a ton of flatware, but what they did make, probably more like 90s or whatever, they could still be making some, but it, was obviously going to be good quality and still around. So this reserved listing was a mixed lot for $1,378 of the Telluride. Wainwright, another big lot. So we have some lots of 28 pieces of this equestrian braid, and that was one that came up fairly often. $799, 20 pieces equestrian braid for $610, and those were bidding. So that was people bidding it up to $610. Okay, another pattern was called Round Hill, but equestrian braid comes up fairly often. 8 steak knives, somewhere over $300. A 5-piece place setting for $319. So you can be sure I am on the lookout for Ralph Lauren flatware. I forgot to search my records to see if I've ever found or sold any, but I'm definitely, it's in the mental, be on the lookout for sure. Just like many Ralph Lauren things in all sorts of categories, we're always on the lookout for that. 3 salad forks for $233. I love the color blue that they're using behind their flatware. It's a nice color. Let's pop over. Here's a name that Kirks that it will come up as a silversmith in general. So you're going to more often come across, if you come across anything Kirks, it's usually silver plated or sterling, if you can come across it. But there was some stainless silver that they made as well. This is called Royal Shell, and it looks like a 40-piece set went for right about $1,000. Another 40-piece set for $600. And then as we kind of get down, 7 iced teaspoons, $189. So definitely not a name that you want to ignore if you come across any pieces in silver plate. Stainless steel. Sorry, the brain. Friday. Well, it's not even Friday yet. It's Thursday, but I want it to be Friday. And then this was brought up also in the comments last time about using a red background. I do agree that this particular one does look really good. Someone had said that it was recommended to use red. I still kind of stand by my preference for blue or gray. Red, I guess, does kind of stand out to you as you look down, but I would say if you can pull it off with really good photography skills, then, and if it's working for you, then go for it if you want to try that. And it's better than, they have good lighting, they have good focus, they have good cropping and everything like that. So I would pick a red background over white and with a flash or something like that for sure. Okay, so here's a few other Kirks pieces that you can see. Serving pieces selling for $75 or so. Next up is another name we've talked about in various categories, Gorg Jensen. I do have one piece of stainless by him that I found, but it's like a fish knife. It's very obscure. I've had that thing listed for years and years and years. It is so hilarious. And so I would not give up on Gorg Jensen stainless flatware just because of that, but there's just not too many people looking, I guess, for the fish knife that goes with the set. I think it's Plata, Plata. Anyway, so here's some other prices. Again, Gorg Jensen, there's going to be some sterling. He's a big name with jewelry. It's like a bucket list type thing for me. Although I did find a tie bar and sell it. Here's that pattern Plata. Okay, $600 for this set. So I just need to find some more mainstream kind of pieces by Gorg Jensen, and then maybe I would do better. Anyway, okay, so yeah, you're going to find all sorts of, hollowware and things like that. Hollowware versus flatware. Hollowware is the things like this, things on the table like pitchers and platters and things like that are known as hollowware, and then flatware is the silverware, forks, knives, spoons, things like that. Okay, and then here's another name and another name and brand. One's the maker, one's designer, Arie Jacobson and A. Michelson. The names are usually together with this Danish modern style flatware. Again, I have found like one piece. I have found some Arie Jacobson hollowware pieces that he had designed for Stelton and like different salt and pepper shakers, things like that. But as far as flatware, I think I've only found one piece over the years. But anything flatware wise that this Arie Jacobson, there's some flatware I saw even over on the Gorg Jensen page that they kind of worked on together. So you kind of see a duplicate. Anyway, they are very mid-century, modern looking. I love eBay's search results giving us other things besides flatware. But, just looking for that modernist, training your eye as you're looking through the bins of flatware to look for those kind of unusual shaped looking pieces of flatware a lot of times turn into something special. So this is actually the type of things I sold before. I found a couple of these pitchers. It's by Stelton. The line is called Celinda. We've sold salt and pepper. We've sold some of these pitchers and sold them for a pretty good price. We might even have sold the ice bucket one time too. But yeah, just look at the look of those knives and spoons are just going to be slightly different, and they should catch your eye and make you stop and take a second look. We can't do a video about awesome flatware brands without talking about Dansk. We've got some wood accent, wood handle flatware sold for over $1,000. Dansk Odin is one of like the top Dansk patterns as far as money making. There are lots of good Dansk flatware patterns, but Odin is kind of right up there. I've showed you recently my Torin pieces that have been selling, and Fjord is kind of one of those was one of my top bucket list type patterns that I had wanted to find because it was just so classic mid-century looking. It's wood handle, it's a teak handle, and I did find some pieces, but it was I found some before I think I really knew how exciting they were. I found them and sold them, and I didn't really appreciate it at the time until I really got into flatware and got into mid-century and things like that. Then it was hard to find after that. So Dansk Variation, they have a few with Roman numerals after them. There's Variation 5 and 4 and 6 and things like that. And a lot of this I have sold in the past. It's doable to find, and it's doable to find and flip and get good money for it. Anyway, you could get creative with your photos. do something like this. And anyway, larger lots. Here's a picture of the fjord a little bit closer up. $400 for the 20-piece flatware set, but you can see that wood handled. Interestingly, I love spotting. I look in old cookbooks, like mid-century cookbooks, and a lot of the Dansk fjord pieces are on the tables in those mid-century cookbooks. So it's always kind of fun to spot those as I flip through the old cookbooks. Do you ever do that? Like flip through old cookbooks and like, or even old magazine ads and like look at the, or even TV shows, look at the tableware. Yeah, I'm spotting Pyrex all over the place and just different serving pieces that I've like either sold or have been looking for a long time. So Dansk is a good name to know. Next up is blank. Okay. Then we have WMF Cromargin. That is another favorite of mine. I get so excited whenever I find anything marked WMF Cromargin. And their stainless flatware can sell for pretty good money. This is one of those patterns where you want to make note of where it was made. It's just a thing. If you look at replacements, like one pattern, a certain pattern made in Germany will sell for more than that same pattern made in Japan or somewhere else like that. So you just have to make note of it so that you're charging accordingly according to where it was made. So I love finding WMF Cromargin pieces, flatware, and have found and sold quite a few over the years. So it's definitely doable. Next up is Cutco. Now, did you guys know that Cutco did flatware? It's not just knives. So you want to keep an eye out. The handles are those same plastic handles, right? With that same curved look and everything. And they come in white and they come in different colors. They come in that original brown. But there was whole flatware sets with that Cutco handle and they sell for really good money. So I just wanted to throw that out there and make sure that you knew it. I think actually we are doing 10 companies today because I didn't realize one of those tabs was blank. So if I ended up with 9 and counted this all wrong, I do apologize, but you just stay tuned for more Flatware Fridays because we're just going to keep talking about good flatware to sell. And not just the big money, big name brands, but also the, maybe some more obscure things that no one else is looking for. And we're going to end today's video with this final company, Laufer. Laufer's technically not the company. It's owned by Toll, Towle. It doesn't usually say Toll on it, but it says Laufer, so it's like a sub-brand, I guess you would say, under it. Another one of my favorite. Right up there, Dansk, WMF, Laufer. I don't know. I love the mid-century stuff, so what can I say? Good money on Laufer stainless flatware. So you can see they put both in the title, Toll, Laufer, Magnum. Okay, so a lot of people do put both names if they're aware of it. And again, the place where it's made or whatever it's printed on the back of the flatware is something you want to include in your listing. So anyway, okay, so Laufer, Lauffer, keep that in mind. Keep all of these in mind, add them to that reselling Rolodex that we're all trying to keep going in our heads. And I wish you happy thrifting, and I will hopefully have a Flatware Friday video for you next week, even though I'll be out of town, but I make no promises because I've learned long ago not to make those promises. Not at my stage of life. Okay, but I should have a video or two coming out while we're gone. So I hope you guys have a great week. Let me know how your thrifting is going. Let me know about any other topics that you'd like covered on Flatware Friday, and we will try to get to all of them. And I will talk to you guys later.